Welcome to the Then and Now podcast with myself, Babatunde and Aleshe.
And me, Leonie Aleshe.
Welcome
to
another,
guys.
Yeah, man. Welcome back to another episode. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good, actually. The sun's out now, and it's making me feel so much like brighter. It just a little bit. Almost feels like I'm in another country, but I won't go as far.
Crazy.
It's because it's bright. I wake up and I'm like, let's go for it.
But when you look outside your house, you see Stevenage. You see Stevenage, mate. It doesn't make me feel like I'm in another country, mate.
It's the sun for me. That just does everything for me. I can get up early. I feel energized. I don't feel like gloomy, and I feel like I can really seize the day. So yes, I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm happy because look, the recent fight that just happened, Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn. I thought that was amazing. It was
incredible. It was such a good display of boxing.
Of boxing, but also of fatherhood.
Yeah. And I think that is what, just watching it, something about it made me feel warm inside. I was happy for Eubank and I was sad for Ben, but happy to see his relationship with his dad be such a beautiful display of a black father with his son.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The way he embraced him and held him.
I held him like a baby.
Yeah.
It was beautiful to see.
Yeah.
But Chris Eubank Sr. coming back to support his son and walk his son out to the ring. Man, when them two came out of the lift, oh my Lord. I was like, yes, I was so happy. I was just like, thank God you actually agreed to come and stand by your son's side. And at the end when he was just like, I was always coming.
Yeah.
Rastafari. I'm done with him.
Yeah.
Listen.
Why would I miss it? I would never miss this moment.
But what does Haile Selassie got to do with this moment?
In that moment, only Rastafari would do it. Do you know what I mean? It's literally only Rastafari. In that moment,
he always slips in and out of his, the Jamaican patois and everything. It's so funny, man. But look, that was amazing. I thought that just warmed my heart. But today we are talking about finances.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the cost of living crisis and how that impacts parenting. Yeah.
Would you say, just speaking on us personally, how has it been for you in terms of the impact finances has had on us in terms of budgeting and like you said, the cost of living crisis? How do you feel like it's impacted us?
Do you know what? I don't feel like we felt like it's a crisis, if that makes sense. And the reason I'm saying that is
because you don't pay no bills.
Imagine.
I'm the one over here stressing. I gotta check my blood pressure and everything. Go on.
Not too much pressure. I don't feel. I see the difference, so it's not that I don't see the difference, but it doesn't feel like a difference because I suppose what I'm doing it for feels like it's important enough. Does that make sense?
In terms of what? Your job or?
No, in terms of like the provision as an example for the children and, just everyday life.
Right.
I don't look at it as a chore. Does that make sense? No, and that's not to say other people do, but just in and of myself, I think, okay, if this is how much something costs, I just need to have enough to be able to pay for that thing. And if I can't, then I just have to kind of do what is within my reach and within my means. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
So I think mentally how I'm processing it is what makes me not think of it as like, oh my gosh, I'm in a crisis. But the reality is, it is actually happening.
It is a crisis.
Yeah.
Because just go into, let's say your local grocery store, supermarket or whatever, just to buy like a whole bunch of food, or even if it's like a small shop, sometimes you just want to go pick up.
Top up. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, wait, hold on. Like, when the price comes up, like the total amount, I'm like, I bought 4 items. What do you mean £32? Where are you going with this? And then
4 items.
You know what I'm saying? And then you look at everything you bought and you're just like, oh my God. Like, that's why I say there is a cost of living crisis.
Yeah.
And for parents, we're in a decent position in life in terms of finances. So that's one thing. We don't really feel the pinch, but I do.
I see the difference.
I see the difference because I think sometimes what a lot of people think is just that, okay, you earn a little bit of money, you're kind of cool. Not necessarily, because the way we get taxed is kind of crazy. But again, that is from a somewhat privileged position. But I will say, I still do see the pinch, just like I said, just bringing up the whole 100%. Going to the groceries.
Even
and stuff like that.
The other day, I said to you, did you know that our food shopping bill has doubled?
It's doubled.
What was it? 2 days ago? Or was it yesterday?
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying, and I look at it from that lens, going, this is still a lot of money.
It is, yeah.
You know, it's still
to spend
a lot
on
of money.
One particular thing. Exactly. It is a lot of money.
And then I think about other parents, and what they're going through, and we don't go to crazy places, and we don't go crazy.
No.
You know, people still see us in, like, you know, wherever.
Yeah.
Do you get me? So that's when I'm just like, man, it really is like a cost of living crisis. Things really are quite bad, to be fair.
I think it's because I'm a glass half full type of person why I don't mentally take on the, oh my gosh, like this has changed so much over a period of time. But, you know, to sit and to look at the reality, it has changed a lot. You know. Yeah. And everything right now is just so expensive. But so is there a change? Yes. Do I look at it as a crisis? Not really, because I just think this is where we are now, and this is what we've got to live with. And
but that's unfair I would say that's somewhat unfair to people who don't have a well-paying job, or you know, are in different circumstances, or let's say single parents and stuff like that.
I think
it's quite harsh.
That
in my opinion,
it is. I think it's a hard reality overall, but then also it's not foreign to me. Does that make sense? Because growing up, we didn't have, you know, loads of money, and we didn't have
but things were way cheaper.
Things were cheaper, but we still couldn't even afford some of those things. Do you see what I'm saying? So again, the quality of what we were doing, and how, like, we were buying things, and, you know, the different sort of savvy ways, I don't think I've lost any of that.
But that's what I'm saying. It was easier to live off of a cheaper budget back then, because the quality of some of the things, especially, we've discussed this before, but the quality of, let's say, some of the whole foods that you could buy was top tier. Now, if you want to buy whole foods, it's quite expensive.
Yeah, but then you have to remember that first of all, we weren't paying for those things, so we didn't feel the squeeze then.
What do you mean, as children?
Yeah, like the money wasn't coming out of our pockets, so
true.
You know, our parents probably felt that pressure that we feel now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Number one, and then number two, inflation. So it probably does cost, do you know what I mean? The same as it would have then, but the pressure feels different because now it's on our head, you know, to be the person that provides for the children, whereas we were the ones provided for at the time. So that pressure fell on our mum's heads.
I don't know, man. I still feel like it was cheaper then.
It probably was. It probably was. Even with, like, inflation and everything, it probably was cheaper. You probably got a lot more for your money.
100%. Like we've discussed before, you could buy a keg of oil for like £5.
Yeah.
You cannot do that now. That's gonna cost you some. I don't even know how much it costs nowadays, but I know it's gonna cost you a lot.
But then people earn more now.
No, people earn more, but people pay. Look, babe, rent is crazy out here. Rent is crazy, and that's across
and back in the day,
nation,
like,
not just London.
Back in the day, getting a mortgage was kind of like the way out to get like a cheaper monthly payment on where you live, right?
Yeah.
So people be like, oh, if you're paying $1,000 for rent, you might as well buy a house because your mortgage will then only be £289.
I'll tell you what though, those people are laughing now.
Yeah.
Because some of the properties that they bought back then, you know, to sell that now or just to look at the value of that property is, you know, through the roof.
Insane,
you know what I'm saying? No pun intended, but it is. But one of the things that I've looked at, or should I say I've kind of pondered on, is pocket money. Because of the cost of living crisis. I'm like, how are these children getting because it's like pocket money doesn't exist no more.
Yeah.
Like,
I've not heard children talking about pocket money for ages. Like,
just pack lunch.
And I also don't see children at the shop just buying little things.
No.
I actually haven't seen that. Like, we used to go shop all the time. Like, always go in corner shop to go and buy a little Space Raiders and, you know.
How much was your pocket money?
My pocket money was big. I had a
Just say the price. Cause I knew you were gonna say that. I knew. And this one, I grew up. It was quite tough in my house.
Yeah,
go on.
Okay, let's put it this way. I don't think my dad didn't have any understanding
the price
or appreciation of money.
The price.
So we could be struggling. But I'm getting £20 as my
£20. Are you joking? That's not pocket money. That's a salary. Are you taking a mick? You got paid £20. £20. How old are you?
Pocket money. I was only like 9.
I feel like I'm about to have a heart attack. Are you taking a mick? At the age of 9?
£20. So I used to go pound shop, right? Which is like this shop where they used to sell everything for £1. All the toys were £1. So I used to go pound shop. Then you're so silly, right?
£20.
Yeah, so I'll go pound shop, get my little toys, all the breakable toys. Then I would get my snacks and my drinks and Doritos and all of that kind of stuff. And then I would still have some change left. So sometimes I would make it stretch.
Doritos?
Yeah.
Those were big boy crisps back in the day.
Yeah, that's all. I didn't eat all of this.
You're not talking to my people. You're on a different level. You're on the middle class people level. My generation wasn't buying Doritos at the age of 9.
Buying?
Them 10p crisp, are you crazy?
What?
Tommy tomatoes and what's it with the salt and vinegar stick ones? Those ones
could never be me. What's it?
You had big money.
Doritos?
Well, we know that you had 20 quid. 20 quid. Yeah, and how long would that last? In terms of, did you get it weekly or monthly?
No, like every couple of days. Because remember,
I'll get Are you joking? Every couple of days. So you were getting like
every 3 days. Yeah, I was like, oh, my money's finished.
So in a month, what would you earn?
I don't know. It was by then. It was basically vibes. Like, babe, my dad didn't know what he was doing, so it was just pure vibes. So they'll be like, "Oh, you don't have money? Okay, then." And I also didn't. I'll say this: I had no appreciation for money, and this is something that I wish that I was taught actually back then. I didn't have any appreciation.
I think they need to teach that to you now. Mrs. Where's my wallet? Can I tell you my pocket money?
Yeah.
£1.
Why? What were you gonna buy?
No. Because unlike you, we
had appreciation.
No.
Money.
Well, yeah, we definitely had appreciation for money. But when I say we felt the pinch back then. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about, it was quite hard back in the day. But guess what? I still got £20 every couple of days.
I don't know. What
would you do when your dad give you £10? You'd literally throw yourself down the stairs.
No, I'll just take it. I'll just take it. I just took what I was given.
You'd be disgruntled though.
I didn't ask for £20. It was just given to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't have an expectation, if that makes sense. But no, yeah, I wasn't taught the value, I would say, of money back then. So it was, I just kind of, if I had it, I would spend it, if that makes sense. So when it finished, I obviously needed more money.
You obviously needed more. At the age of 9, what were you possibly going to buy?
Snacks.
Snacks?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. For those who are listening, I'm so sorry that I'm shouting. But my Lord, I cannot believe... And you know what? This makes sense because our son has no understanding, no appreciation for the value of money.
Yeah.
Tell him the story, babe.
So his tooth fell out, right? And he was like, yeah, my tooth's come out now. So I want £50 for this one.
No, that's not how it went. Remember?
What?
He looked under his pillow and saw £2.
Oh.
And then he was just like, oh. He was like, oh. And I was like, what do you mean, oh? He was just like, what am I going to do with this? I said, excuse me? I was like, how much were you expecting? He goes, £50. I said, 50 what?
50 racks.
50 racks. Yeah. £50
Yeah,
in this day and age.
In this very
an 8-year-old.
Yeah. Gonna go and buy things.
I'll give him
friends.
50 naira, then he'll know. I'll give him 50 naira. I cannot believe you got.
Yeah.
So you probably in a space of like a month, you definitely got like 100.
100, definitely, 100%, 100% got that. And I also got money at the end of the week to go shopping.
What do you mean by go shopping?
So like every week or like every other week, I used to go to Wood Green, and we would go and buy like little things from like Tammy Girl, like all the little teenager stuff from like H&M and stuff like that. So you had to have like additional weekend pocket money, go cinema, go ice skating. Okay. Yeah.
You had to do all those things, did you?
That's what I was told to do. That's what I was allowed to do.
Wow.
Because I wasn't allowed to hang out outside and all of that kind of stuff. So the weekend was my time to shine.
Yeah. You went members clubs and all that. You not only dealt in the upper echelons of society and thing. Wow.
You're making it sound way better than it was.
No, I'm not. Babe, you said £20 every few days.
All right, let me tell you how wild this was, right? So...
No, tell us.
Babe, I've moved house so many times.
Wow.
Yeah.
That good? You lot had it that good?
No.
I'm bored of this house. Let's move somewhere. Let's move somewhere else. That's how it was.
I wish it was like that. I wish that was the reason. But I'll save that for another episode because...
Man. Babe, it doesn't matter what you're about to say. You got basic at the age of 9.
Yeah,
think about what I'm saying.
I'm telling you, it was pure vibes. That's all it was. It was pure vibes. There was no direction.
Did he know sometimes what he was giving you?
Of course.
No, so he saw the note.
Yeah, I didn't just take it.
No, what I mean is that it's
like
not like
he didn't blindly like reach into his pocket. No, No, he just And the only direction was don't spend it all off at once. And
you just said, okay, I'll give it a couple of days. I'll get back to you in a couple of days, big man. All right. So technically you didn't.
Days.
Babe, £20 would have lasted me a whole month at the age of 9. Are you mental? That would have lasted me a month. You know what my mum used to do when I got money from like other aunties or uncles from like birthday parties? She'd be like, "Where's that money that they gave you? Give it to me. I'll put it in your bank.
I'll look after it." Yeah.
I didn't see that money.
It was gone.
You saw all that money plus.
Oh my god.
Rich girl, man.
That is so funny.
How much would you say nowadays is fair to give to children?
I feel like as pocket money, we don't really give pocket money. Maybe like £5. I would say is good. But then I feel like nowadays children are with their parents all the time.
Yeah, they're not really go.
You're with us, so pocket money.
Well, it depends what age. I think let's
true.
put it into context.
Yeah.
I think from
maybe
the age
when
of
I was older and going out by myself,
yeah,
thinking of that kind of age group, I suppose it would depend on what activity they're doing.
That as well, but I think that activity is something
aside from pocket money.
From pocket money, I think from the age of like once they enter secondary school, so from like the age of like 11, 12, I think I'd say this day and age with the current, how society's going with the current.
I think £10 to £15.
Hey, what did you say?
Yeah.
What did you just say? Say what you just said.
10 to £15.
I know. That's why I know you're.
Because they can buy themselves a meal. They can then pick up any other little things that they want outside. Why is pound signs going off in your head?
£10 to £15.
Yeah, I think so.
£5, my friend.
And then bring back some change.
£5. You're getting school dinners, rude boy or rude girl. You're getting school dinners, right? Outside of that, I said, all right.
To last them for the week.
For the week. Oh.
See?
No.
My dad
No.
work.
You know what I would do? Because you got to look at it based on what you feel or know they are going to buy outside of school. I'm just talking about throughout the week.
Yeah, like what would they need to buy?
They're going to get like sweets and chocolate bars and crisps and that stuff.
£10.
I'd say
£10. Yeah.
£10 for the week.
Then, because sometimes they may need a little top up as well.
No, there is no top. Why do you keep saying this?
Because you run out of money.
You keep putting the budget up.
I hated running out of money, so I think that's what I'm thinking about more than anything else.
You say that, but you ran out of money every couple days,
and
you went back
every
for more.
Days.
So you didn't hate it. You were just like, man, if I ran out of this, I'm gonna get. Let me spend this.
Yeah, because I knew I would get topped up. Yeah.
I'm really honest to God. I say, all right, look, it depends, obviously, your financial situation. We're not just saying go out there and just give £20 to your children. But I would say, in this current climate, I'd say £10 is the budget.
Some people give £5.
Yeah.
I suppose you're gonna give what you can afford to give. Do you know what I mean? And also based on, it's not like there's not a one size fits all. No. I suppose some parents may feel, depending on how responsible their children are, that they can give them a bit more, or they may need to drip feed it and give them a little bit less. Because I had friends like that over the course of the week they also got in quotes £20, but their parents would give them five. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I get that.
Or 4, or whatever it is until the end of the week, and that covered them. Someone like my brother, you could give him all his spending money in one go and he was good. When my parents obviously realised that I was, spending off all the money at once, then they kind of like started breaking it down and then doing like, okay, you get £5 a day. Does that make sense? So it still worked out the same, but then I had to kind of like start managing how I was spending it and breaking up,
Manage yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I cannot believe it, man.
But yeah, I think, what's affordable is going to be based on your circumstances. And then also growing up, what it taught me was the importance of just being content with a little and a lot. So there were times where, you were content with a little. Yeah, because right, it wasn't always, oh yeah, you're gonna get £20. Does that make sense?
Sometimes you got 50.
No, I wish. I used to ask for £50. No one ever gave it to me. But if you got £5, be content. If you got 20, it's that your attitude or behaviour shouldn't change based on how much you're given. Do you know what I mean?
My attitude would.
What would you? Well, you'd be happy if you got more.
You can't give me £1,000 today and then be like, hey, it's £5 tomorrow. I'm absolutely lose my mind. Are you crazy? Give me that £1,000. What do you mean I got £5 now and you don't expect me to act up? Yeah. I'm act up.
But yeah, each person, I would say, obviously just do it, you know, in your own way, like what suits your family and lifestyle and income, I would say.
How about chores? I'm just thinking about it around the house. What do you mean nah?
No one should be paid to. You live here.
So wait, hold on. Did you do chores? Did you get paid for chores?
No.
So you just did the chores?
The only way I got paid for chores, this is hilarious. The only way I got paid for chores was if my brothers didn't want to do their chores and they paid me to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's bartering amongst the youth. Cool.
So he'd be like, oh, if you clean the window for me, I'll pay you £5. Yeah. Oh, if you clean the chicken for me, I'll pay you £8. Yeah. Oh, beg you sweep out the front for me, I'll pay you £6. And I had to be like, nah, I'm not doing it unless it's £8. No, yeah. I'm not doing it.
The going rate for sweeping up outside is 10. That's the going rate.
They wanted to go out so much and not do that. They would pay. So when I realised, so you don't want to do any work? Yeah. £20. What? Cleaning the chicken was £20. Yeah. Wow. Cleaning the window on the inside.
Wow.
Was £8.
Eh?
Yeah, and if they also wanted me to do the outside, it's an additional £8. Yep. And so because I knew you don't want to do this. So hello. So I maximized
and you know
on
what?
it.
This makes sense of how you are now. Because sometimes when I'm just like, just leave whatever alone, like you will force your way and you will get what you want. And I'm just like,
I'll get it
how
done.
do you do that? And now I know.
You have to.
Boss lady. I will say this. I agree with you. I do not think that you should be paying your children.
You live here.
You live here. Don't pay them.
You need to look after yourself.
Absolutely.
You need to look after your environment. Yeah. You need to tidy your house. You know, so stuff like I don't think you should be paid to do homework. I don't think you should be paid to do.
People pay for.
Like if you read XYZ amount of books, you get £2. Like. There's little incentives that people give. Do you know what I mean? Mm. But for chores and like stuff that you're meant to do for your own development, I just can't like justify.
Yeah, I can't. You live here
paying,
too.
Yeah,
and I'm paying the mortgage or rent or whatever. Yeah, it is. My friend, clean up.
Yeah,
I agree. I totally agree.
But things that I would pay for would be stuff like cleaning the car. Right?
No.
Because
it's my car. Yeah.
Do you know? Or it's our car because obviously we all drive it.
No, but they don't drive it.
Yeah, but they get taken to all their clubs, school, in it. It's basically for you, this car.
Yeah, so
do you know what I mean?
I paid them to clean it. So.
Yeah, but I would I don't see that as like an essential daily chore.
They ain't buying. They ain't financed it. It's not your car, bless.
But I think stuff like that. I don't see washing the car as a chore. I see it more like, I don't know, a job. Does that make sense?
No, I totally agree. It's a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Or if maybe they did like some extra gardening and like little things like that you wouldn't necessarily say it's a normal part of your daily routine.
I still can't get over the fact that our son asked for £50.
Yeah, he should have £50. I'm happy for him.
For one tooth missing.
That's my
Anyway, it's all good. The tooth fairy's broke now, so
The other day I forgot to put money under the pillow and he was like, my tooth is still there and there's no money. I was like, oh man.
The tooth fairy. She's out of there. She's in retirement now. Not even retirement. She's got another job.
She's bankrupt.
She's bankrupt, boy. She couldn't pay her corporation tax.
The pressure.
Listen, don't even get me started on that corporation tax. My Lord.
But okay, so with like the stuff like tooth fairy and stuff, like genuinely sometimes you don't even have like the cash.
No,
do you know what I mean? And right, you don't have the cash around the house. So I'm thinking surely there's other things like other incentives that you can use when you don't have money. But what other things can they be?
The belt. don't even have to smack them. Just do that with it, and just let them know, like, yeah.
No, it needs to be a good incentive, something in place of money.
Good incentive is the fact that you're under my roof. That's the incentive. You get to sleep at night. You get a meal, a free meal at night.
A free meal? What? Listen, they're not like lodgers, you know. They're a part of the family.
But what I'm trying to say is, it's not easy out here.
Yeah.
No matter how much money you have or how little money you have, it's not easy out here. Sometimes you can't have what everybody else has. Yeah. Right? And I don't. And that's why I'm so, even now, with our children, I'm so just on the ball of teaching them the respect and to have for money and the value, and you know what I'm saying? I want them to respect it, because listen, if you don't respect money, money will make you respect it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true.
Because money, what does the Bible say? Money makes itself wings and just flies away.
And flies away, honey.
Because the minute you get money, you're just like, yes, I got it. What do I really want in life? I'm going to buy it.
I'm going to do all the things.
That's your money, guys. See ya. You get me?
Taken the wings and flapped off in the wind.
People get so gassed off of it.
Yeah.
And so even with as much money or little money as you have, you've got to find ways to...
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's not about being humble. It's the art of spending money.
It's the art of spending money. It's the art of keeping money. It's the art of, knowing how to give joyfully.
How to invest, whatever.
You know, which I feel like is that's a lot of stuff that we're learning now.
Right?
Do you know what I mean?
I think children need to be taught this
100%.
so that as they get older, it's not new to them.
It's
not a surprise.
It's not a surprise. It doesn't feel foreign. Because
and it's not scary to them.
It's not exactly because I think for me, I was never like scared of spending
receiving money
ever. Literally, why would I mean, but yeah, I was never scared, but then I'm now at my age that I am now, I have a newfound respect.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to spending and earning, and how you earn, when you, especially after having children, my goodness, like your mindset towards how you earn completely changes. Absolutely. Your exchange of your time and your energy and where it's invested and all of that kind of stuff, it starts to become that prominent thing at the front of your mind, because how you earn your money, there's always something that you're exchanging it for. Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's time with your children or time making home or time with your husband or your wife or your partner, or there's always an exchange in place of how you earn that money. And I think because of that realization, it's given me a newfound respect.
I wouldn't call it, sorry, not just to interject. I wouldn't necessarily just say it's respect, because it's one of those things. I don't think money respects you. Money, money
it's
is
a
money.
tool in the hand of.
There you go. And just like you said, the amount of energy you use to go and get money, sometimes that stops you from being around your children or being around your loved ones. And that's why I personally have like a love-hate relationship with money, because it's just like, yes, all right, I earn it, I go out and I get it, but what it takes away from me isn't always nice. Isn't. And I'll be real. For me personally, I'm just being 100% transparent. It's not always nice. Sometimes I'm like, I don't like being in this particular situation just to get money. You get what I'm trying to say? Even though, and I'm so, how can I say? I'm so appreciative of the opportunities I get. But sometimes I think about it, I'm just like, man, I could be with my children right now that are, let's say my son, he's got a football game or something. I'm like, I could really be there for my son, but I'm out here doing this to get money. And I kind of think about it like, okay, well, at least I'm doing something for him.
Yeah, exactly.
In the bigger picture. Yeah. But it makes me have this love-hate relationship with money, because it's like, it takes away from me.
It's so interesting hearing you say that, because from a woman's
I'm out of the house all the time.
Well, that too. And I'm glad, that you do have that opportunity to do that, because I think, as a man, working as hard as you do is something that you thrive off of. Do you know what I mean? And I think especially like seeing our dads and you know how things worked out for them in the end, it makes you utterly grateful for the opportunities that you do have, because you know they didn't have those, and you know what it did to them, what it did to their relationships, the impact it's had on us, you know, as children. But I think what's interesting hearing you say that, I always thought it's just a woman that feels like that.
No, babe, I love that. I love our family, and nothing makes me happier than us four just being together. You know, my son, my daughter playing. Let's say we're out in the garden, me and you are just listening to music, having a nice glass of wine or whatever it is that we're doing. I love that, and that to me, you couldn't put a price on that. And so when I'm taken away from that, you know, for sometimes considerable amount of time, sometimes I'm like, man, all of this for money. And then, you know, I was having this discussion with a friend of mine who was just like, oh man, if only I could just get this much. And I remember saying to him, I was just like, brother, that will not change your life. You think it will. You really do. You think that price will change your life. It will not change your life. Because
once you get that, then you've got to work even harder to get more, to then maintain that, and then
more, and more. And it's almost like a never-ending cycle. It's just like, you think about a big figure in your head about, oh, I'd love to earn this much, and then you earn it and you realise, I got to pay to have that money. And the amount you've got to pay to have that money is a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So then you've got to double and triple your earnings and so on in order to...
And not just your effort in terms of working. Like I say, I love working. I love what I do. I would never change that. But it's not just the amount of work you do, it's who you leave behind, or what, you know. And sometimes
there's always an exchange.
Yeah, there's always, and sometimes it's not just family; it can be friends. As well.
Easily.
You know,
I feel like nowadays more than ever, like for me especially, like this year, I've actually had to say, no, I'm actually going to carve out some intentional time, like to meet up with my friends, because you can get into that thing of being mum, being, you know, family, and working and focusing on your business and doing all of this stuff, that you actually forget, oh my gosh, like I've got friends, I've got actual friends that are my real,
Can I tell you what I do?
Yeah.
For some of my hard working friends, like there are a few friends that I have that they work tirelessly, you know, all throughout the calendar year, and I make time to call them and go, you okay? Just checking up on you, and in a way basically letting them know, even though I know you're working hard and you're doing your thing, I haven't forgot you, even though you might have kind of forgotten us. I just want to let you know I still hold you close as a dear friend, just so that they don't forget they've got friends. Do you get it? Because like I said, it can take you away.
Because it can be all consuming. You know, it can be all consuming, but having that conscious kind of like thinking around it and making that effort does make a huge difference. And as I said, you know, I look back and I'm like, man, our mums and dads didn't have this opportunity that we've got now, so we've got to seize it and literally grab it with both hands. And there's a peak season in your life and time in your life where you're in a position to actually be able to do better and grow and, you know, really maximize on those moments. So it's about grabbing it with both hands and absolutely going for it. But I
agree.
In terms of financial literacy for the children, I do think that the earlier we can do it, the better. So already now, you know, being able to speak to our son, you know, about how much money he needs, as an example, for Tooth Fairy, and then you know, as opposed to how much money he needs if he's going to go soft play with friends, you know, or how much money he's going to need if he's going to the arcade, capping it. Because I used to go arcade and just be like, oh, money's finished, let me get some more. But you did this when we went with you. You were like, no, it's £20
20 quid,
and that's spreading between everybody. When it's done, it's time to leave.
Because the arcade money goes like that.
When I saw you do that, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I'm not ramping. And did you see our son's face when I was just like, yeah, time's up, buddy? He was just like, what do you mean? So you're not going to go get more money?
Yeah.
No, fam. You didn't work for none of this. You think you're just going to spend off my money like it's just... no, it's not water.
But I loved when you did that, and I was just like, that makes so much... But again, on autopilot, as a parent, you just think, oh my God, like I never had this as a child. I want to do all these things, and it's unlimited, but it's not unlimited.
It's not unlimited.
And you've got to teach them those boundaries.
Thank you. That's
again,
it right
like
there.
stuff
boundaries.
like, yeah. Stuff like takeaway. It's not every 2 minutes. Some Fridays, it's a home cooked meal.
We're cooking.
Do you know what I mean?
We're cooking, big man.
We're going out. Yeah, I'm making your lunch and I'm putting it in the little Chinese box container, and you can eat it in the car. Yeah. It's not every time. Oh, can we stop and get some food on the way? No.
There's rice at home.
There's rice at home. There's rice at home. We'll fill your water bottle at home. Yeah. And mix the little drinks.
The little juice.
To carry.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know? And if there's no juice, a little air up thing. We got the air ups. Smell the water. Smell the flavour.
And it's going to have to do.
Yeah, it's going to have to do, man. Because... like I said, you have to respect.
Yeah.
You have to respect money.
Yeah.
Or it will make you respect it. Trust me when I tell you that.
And if we can teach them to respect it now, then they won't be in that position. And again, just going back to the quick point of being content with a little and much at the same time. I think us growing up, life experiences and, you know, how our parents were and how things were, humbled us in a way where we lived it, if that makes sense. Yeah. But I feel like nowadays with our children, we're actively having to make that conscious thing of be cool with doing nothing, but also be cool with being able to go on a holiday. Do you know what I mean?
I get
and
you.
Having the contrast between the two. So when they're older, whether they have a lot or they know how to manage, they know how to get on. It doesn't faze them, and they can, you know, deal well in any circumstance. Yeah.
Community is a big a factor in that. Well, just in raising children.
Yeah.
Altogether. And the reason why I say community is because you can learn so much from so many different people. We have friends who are very well off, and even they budget like,
oh my goodness,
to the point where I was surprised. I'm like, but hold on, you don't need to budget, my friend. And it's just like, oh no, we budget. Yeah. I was like, okay, cool. But well, you talk to me, because you're somebody who, you know, you're in these WhatsApp groups. You have that greater sense of community. So talk to me about how you kind of like go about it.
So I would say like there's this like whole trend now where people are doing like community parenting and parenting pads. So it's where people are like pooling together and they have like a group of like homeschooling people. So, you know, they all homeschool together, so their children get to be a part of a community of other children and parents.
So like a classroom.
Yeah, or it may just be like a location.
Just go to school.
No, it's different because your parents are still there.
Hey, let's homeschool, but you know what? Let's gather all the children on our road and let them all learn together. Go to school.
No, but they don't follow the curriculum.
They don't.
They have their own curriculum. They have their own curriculums, and
they can't make their own curriculum. I swear they have to. I swear the rules are, if you're homeschooling, they have to follow what's being taught.
No, I think they can still perform at the same level. But you create your own curriculum. There's no set thing for homeschooling. Yeah, well, not anything. Like you still follow, you know, a guide. But
teach them the ways of Rastafari.
So silly.
Carry on, sorry.
But yeah, so they all pool together. So it may be at someone's house or a specific location, but the parents get to still be there, and they obviously get to be a part of, you know, cultivating that community. And then you got parent pads, so where people are buying like houses like together, and all living in the same space to like save on the cost of, you know, buying multiple houses and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah,
flat sharing with different families.
Yeah, or house sharing, or however they decide to do
Not
it.
flat
And then
sharing, house sharing,
and they do all their extracurricular activities, and like it's basically a communal approach to parenting. But something that
is crazy.
I'll let you in on this.
Go on.
That is how it used to be back in the day.
Yeah, that's back in the day. But babe, all right, let's say there's like 3 families.
Yeah.
That's 3 different men.
Yeah.
3 different men using the toilet.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Crazy. That toilet's gonna stink. Man doo-doo is mad. Man doo-doo is mad. You know, and we're not silent in the toilet.
Yeah. Doing too much, honestly.
Listen, that's crazy.
Doing too much.
Man.
So but that reminds, so in Jamaica
sorry, I'm just thinking about how complicated that is.
Yeah.
Hold on, so you're telling me 3 different families live in one house?
Yeah, but they probably have, you know, like as an example, ensuite bathrooms. Like, so if you can imagine, the average person, let's say in London, that wants to buy a house is probably going to spend about 400 to 500k, I'm guessing, right? This is just more than that now. So if they were buying individual houses, that let's say it's 1.5 million, right? If they bought one house and sort of split it all up, the max they're going to be spending is maybe 800 as a collective, which then means that broken down into 3 families works out to whatever.
That sounds like some hippie stuff, man.
Yeah, but listen, in Jamaica, that is called, they used to call it tenement yard. Yeah. So it's where loads of different people live in a tenement yard. Yeah.
Too much,
too much. What you. Why are we both doing the hand and the movement?
Because it's the truth.
Yeah.
Because there's too much watching. Yeah, that's how mad things happen. Because people are going to start preying.
Yeah, when my grandma tells you the story.
There you go. So go.
It's lit.
It's
like, it's actually lit.
Babe.
It kicks off.
Another family and another family.
It will kick off every day.
It will kick off. Where you coming in with Tesco bags? Where you get money for Tesco's? Strictly Aldi in this house. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one is going. If I see anyone with Marks and Spencers, I'm going mad. Yeah. Means you got money.
Yeah.
Yo, I can't do that, man. Next man all preying my wife and he's talking, but his eyes talking to me, but his eyes are on you. Yeah. No, not happening. That's how madness kicks off.
I can't do. So, so when my grandma tells those stories, man, it was always kicking off. Like, every story my grandma tells me about those times, I'm like, that is crazy.
Yeah, because people pre too much. Yeah. That's why you can't live with another family. People pre too much. Yeah. 110%. I don't see that working. Personally, for me. But I don't see it working.
I suppose for those people, they see the benefit in maybe the children, like having interaction with other children, the mums being able to support. So, like, as an example, if I work and then another, like, if we all work, one could maybe do day shifts, one could do afternoon shifts, one could do night shifts, and then they can take turns in terms of like childcare. So then they're cutting childcare costs. The dads could obviously go out and work as much as they need to because they're
I see where this is going. One of the dads is going to kill the other 2 dads. Then he's going to start a cult. He's going to start a cult in the house. He's going to say, I'm the second coming. Next minute, he marries all 3 of the women. And the children end up looking all crazy. And then you've got a Netflix documentary on your hands.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry.
Do you know what? Yeah. to be fair, my granddad and my grandma were absolutely fine from the tenement yard, you know? So it might work out. Because they went on to buy like a massive house.
Yeah, but your grandma, she was on smoke.
My grandma's serious.
She didn't ramp.
My grandma is the most serious person in my family.
She didn't ramp.
Not my granddad. Like but no one could play.
There you go.
You couldn't play.
So you got to put things into context.
Yeah,
Don't just think to yourself that she was a very serious
about her family,
you see
about their safety, about her children, about her husband. You just wouldn't.
You didn't mess
dare.
with her back then. You didn't. However, I've watched Netflix documentaries.
Yeah.
And so to me,
it sounds like one in the making.
That is one in the making. The women all start growing their armpit hair. Start growing plants in their house. There's bare cats. It's just mad.
It's all kicking off.
You know what I mean?
But no, man, the cost of living crisis is serious. It's a serious thing. I think we're all feeling the pinch, and you know, with all the changes that's happening and stuff like that. But it is still possible, you know, for us to live within our means and tweak things to what suits our families, and you know what works for our families, and to not feel like you need to keep up with the Joneses, but do what is right for you and your family in, you know, those situations that you're in. I just want to say this
last thing on that, because I respect everything that you say. I think that's very important, but it is hard in this day and age to not try to feel like you want to keep up with the Joneses because of the way things are advertised at you. Social media, everything is glorified and glamified to the point where you feel like you're missing out on everything. If you don't have the latest this or the latest that, or you're not following the latest trend, you do feel like you're an outsider. And so I understand why people find it so hard to live within their means, because every day they're taught that they're less than unless they have this. And so until we change that narrative of you've got to have the latest whatever to feel happy, I don't think we're going to see a change in society when it comes to like consumerism and things like that. You know? So that's what needs to be changed. And then I think we'd see a balance when it comes to the cost of living crisis, because people will begin to really value products, value money, value stuff, and value themselves most of all. And so no, I agree. But thank you so much, guys, for listening in on this episode of the Then and Now podcast with me, Leonie Aleshe, and me, Babatunde. If you want to donate, I'm gonna send you my bank details. It's a cost of living crisis. So. It's so silly. But peace.